Hey guys, Lazy Beast here. Now let's talk Survival Hunters. So, Survival is a spec that had some big changes come Legion. It changed from being a range spec to a melee spec in the Legion pre-patch. And this was met with some mixed feedback, as you would imagine. This is evident on the forums where people left lots of constructive criticism. Survival is pathetic and 2 is without a healer. Any 2 DPS you die like you're pepper. It's ridiculous. 1 melee can make you turtle in sex. Now this is of course a PvP related problem, and the issue here seems to be that survivability is pretty bad with survivability. Let's delve deeper. I hate to say it, but I actually miss WoD. Okay, not really, but I miss one survival spec. Well, there has to be somebody that missed WoD, and I guess there has to be more people that miss the old range survival spec, which is fair enough. So, is anyone at Blizzard looking at the fact that almost no one plays this spec and it's bottom on everything? Okay, now half of this sentence is true and half of it is not. So the fact that hardly anybody plays it is definitely true. If we take the data from Warcraft logs and look at the passes for Nighthold, for example, we see that Survival actually had the least number of passes by a long margin. But then, if you look at the actual performance, Survival Hunters actually did pretty good. And this is probably, of course, due to the dedication of the raiders who left those passes to kind of learn and master their rotation so that they squeeze some good numbers out for the raid. But what this does tell us is that Survival doesn't have to suck if you just dedicate some time to learn and master its toolkit. Okay, so here we are, we've jumped in game and we're just going to basically delve into this whole spinning plates Fedazzle, new word. So basically, what have we got? We've got Mongoose Bite, which basically stacks and does stuff. I'll just give you a little example of what it does. So you stacky, and you can see we're obviously using a weak aura for this, so there's my remaining time. There's my stacks, and it goes up to 6. So basically you just stack this as high as you can, and then when you get near the end, use your Eagle, Fury of the Eagle, I don't even know the name, which will refresh the duration for a little bit and try and squeeze in some more. So that's that bit of that. That's kind of like the main thing. And then what you want to do is basically wait until you've got your Eagle's Fury back and you got some stacks. You can still stack this up, but of course you're not going to be able to use the Eagle's Fury. So we've got this going on. But as well as that, we've got all these other things. We've got Flanking Strike, which is our kind of like big hitter where you and your pet both hit the thing at the same time. We've got Lacerate, which is a dot. We've got Raptor Strike, which is kind of a focus dump, or you can talent it to be more than that. And then AoE, I mean obviously you've got your traps. Now I've got Caltrops, which is a talent. So there's just so many things. And we've got Explosive Trap, which you get baseline anyway. So there's all these things going on. So this is where the whole spinning plates problem comes into account. So you can see again we've got a big, like, well, say big, it's not like cooldown aspect of the Eagle. So again we can go for that window. So what you tend to find yourself doing is keeping your dot up, using Flanking Strike on cooldown. But I mean, I don't even know if you're meant to use that in the Mongoose Bite windows or not. So let's just go again. So obviously you've got your things on, refresh your traps and your dots and things, and then you can start with this window. See again, Flanking Strike's on cooldown. Am I supposed to use that now or not? I don't know. Where are we at? 5 stacks, 6 stacks. We'll pop the Fury of the Eagle, smack, smackety smack. And then again, so obviously my Caltrops is now on cooldown. I'm assuming the best thing to do would be to use the things on there. So there we go, we fit quite a few in. And then obviously once you've come out of that window, you can then go back to your other things, refresh your dots and whatnot. And then there we go, we've got 3 charges of that again, so we can use that again. I'm assuming this is the way to play. So the thing is, I've said assuming about 4,000 times in this sentence, so this is the problem with Survival, I think, is not knowing what to do. Now obviously there's websites like Icy Veins that will go through in depth with you, but when you're out in the field, so to speak, doing these things, I found myself questioning a lot of the time, is this what I should be doing right now? Is there another way of thingy that I should be doing? Or just snuck that one in there again with the 6 stacks. And obviously with the weak auras, I find that is crucial. I will, if you want to play Survival or if you're intrigued by it, I'll put the link to the weak auras if you can find it down in the description of this video. But here seems to lie the problem. Now, if you look at the toolkit for Survival in general, it's actually pretty good. I love this ability, the harpoon that drags you in. It's really, really good. If you get things like knocked back, you can just drag yourself straight back into the fight. If you get knocked up in the air, as can happen on some rare bosses or anywhere, you can just drag yourself back down to a mob that's on the ground without taking the fall damage, which is really good. The traps are nice. Now, again, the thing is with the traps, obviously, if you chuck it and you miss slightly, that is not going to go off with that guy. Now that is very annoying if that guy is not going to move, and if you're with a group that aren't going to drag them over the thing, incredibly annoying. And things like your caltrops, that doesn't have a massive area of damage, so things like that can be really annoying with survival. But I think on the whole they're quite good. You know, they've got this for their mobility. They've got an interrupt, which is their got that on my queue there. Muzzle just interrupts spellcasting. You do also have, which I don't see many people do, in a secondary kind of interrupt with your freezing trap. You can chuck that on, and that will obviously stop somebody from casting, but obviously not bosses and things like that that can't be stunned or frozen. And yeah, what else have we got? We've got Feigned Death, which is great. We've got you can talent into camouflage, which is basically stealth, where you can walk around, and with your artifact this actually heals you, as you can see that's happening there with our pet. They've got a lot of cool things that they can do, a lot of cool things, but I think the problem people have with it is, how does it all tie together? How do I get the best out of this class? And then, you know, it is really fun out in the open world. It's really fun because obviously your harpoon thing resets every time you kill something, and actually so does your exhilaration, your heal, when you kill things. That, I think 30 seconds comes off the duration of that, which is all good stuff. Now with like the damage of survival and stuff, let's just, I'm 931, I don't have any survival specific legendaries, I'm using these two unfortunately at the minute. Let's just do some damage thing, let's just try. I'm going to go in on the Raiders, dummy, Dungeoneer, Raiders, we'll go on the Raiders. And let's just see what we can push out with some DPS on this one. So, set my traps going first. I'm going to harpoon in, because that kind of does a little dot over time if you keep hitting it. So we'll go straight for the window. Now I've got Snake Hunter talent, which will give me 3 charges of this if I run out. So I'll use that now. 3 charges, keep on going, keep pushing it. Then we use our thingy, Eagle's Fury, because we ran out of Mongoose Bite charges, and we should get one back. There we go. So again, we're still at 6 stacks, which is doing a lot of increased damage. And there we go, we got quite a bit out of that. So we did just under a mil DPS, which is fine, which is fine. Now, I don't have the optimal talents for a melee setup on this. See, my traps are on cooldown and I didn't notice. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Probably not. But anyway, that's just me, and I probably suck at this class a little bit. So now, if you take the survival spec out of my slightly silly hands and put them into the hands of someone with a bit more experience and commitment to doing well, such as Nanogaga, then basically you will see that survival can perform pretty well, because Nanoga was actually the guy who downed Mythic Gold down with his guild method first as a survival hunter. Now everybody thought, this thing can actually do alright. Now this guy even had a little poem written about him, which just shows if you ascend to the heights of greatness with survival, you're in for a real treat and you'll become an absolute legend. So basically the point of this video, survival doesn't suck. It is unusual, it is weird, it does spin plates to an extent, but if you learn this thing, you're in for a treat. It's a fun spec, it's got a really good toolkit behind it. It does lack on the survivability side of things, which is a shame. Maybe they should change the name of it something like the Tracker Hunter, or which sounds a bit silly, but you know, name changes of specs do happen, as we saw with Outlaw at the start of Legion. But there we go, it's a fun spec, it can perform well in all aspects of the game. I do tend to find myself playing survival quite often these days when I'm on the Hunter, but I am intrigued what will happen when Battle for Azeroth rolls around and artifacts are removed, because the artifact ability, I'm assuming, will be going as well. Now that is quite central to the spec, but actually maybe removing that will change things for the better. Who knows? We'll find out, won't we? So guys, there we go. Survival doesn't suck. Give it a go if you haven't already, or revisit it if you only played it at the start of Legion. It's not that bad. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Lazy Beast. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.